So before, there was a full height cabinet here, a full height cabinet here. That's a propane box. The fridge lived in this area. And then there was also a full height cabinet in this corner. Now, I really value my kitchen space. I love to cook and make meals, so I'm gonna forego this cabinet. Don't worry, that is still holding up top, part of that wall, and then the cabinets are also gonna run the full length, so it'll still be supported. There was never anything over here, which will remain the same. So today, I'm gonna try to cut this side and this side, and hopefully at least test fit them and get them in place. Good morning from the build. It has been a day since I last recorded. I just powered through, and the day prior, my dad and I had been cutting out these walls for the cabinets, which I think is what was recording when my camera timed out. Those got installed yesterday. As you can see, they're not finished, but they are in. They will need face frames and obviously finishing touches later on down the road. But the important thing is that they are in place, because now, you guys won't be able to see this, but the camper is so much stronger. So the only thing else I really have to do before being able to put this on the truck, which is the ultimate goal, so it can be out of the driveway and I could even take it for a test spin if I wanted to, is to put these walls in up front, which are still hot pink, and then work on the truck. But today, all of that aside, I'm going to try to get these two front panels in and potentially even tuck in this headliner up here. I think you guys can see, I'll back up, that this is still just sitting here, and that bar across the top is really just to make sure that this weight doesn't pull the ceiling down, obviously. But what's gonna happen is this part that's hanging down is actually going to be tucked behind a wall panel that's gonna come up from the bed, from the floor of the bed. But before that can happen, these walls need to at least be cut so I can see where they hit and how big this piece needs to be. After multiple days of sanding, jigsawing, remeasuring, and recutting these pieces, it was finally time to put the last walls in.
Here with the squad, everybody trying to go, yeah, the party jumping off, hey, we putting on a show, trying to catch a vibe, we do this every time, like, na 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 na, feeling like I'm on the highway, cause everything been going my way, and now they looking at me sideways, I'm like, na 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 na, this is where I wanna be, na na na, never ever gonna leave.
It feels so cool to be sitting in my future bedroom. Obviously, things are not completely done yet. A lot of trim needs to be added. This camper is super curved. It both curves in and forward in the front. So cutting straight lines in the wood was not going to equal tight joints. But as I said, I think in last week's video, wood on wood squeaks so much. In my experience. With the van, it was a huge problem. In the bus, less so, because I knew what had happened and what I had done wrong. And now in this camper, I'm trying to be super mindful of all of the places where joints could happen that aren't like a cabinet. Obviously, you want wood touching there and for that to be super strong and sturdy. But I do want my walls to look nice. And so areas like this, you can see there's a bit of a gap here, and I don't want that in the future. I want it to look clean and as seamless as possible. So I'm going to go to the store later on today probably to go get some trim to at least start thinking about what that's going to look like. I am going to wait to do trim until the end because I want the camper to be basically as finished as possible with all the structures and walls in place before I go ahead and trim, because generally it's just going to make it easier, I think, kind of sticking to one thing and just knocking out all the trim, knocking out all the cabinets at one time instead of constantly switching gears and trying to think about how I want things to look in the future. The camper changed so much this week, from installing the new floor to finishing my walls and adding basically the entire bunk area. It's still not finished. I need some sealant where I'm sitting right now and on that front panel, as well as a little bit of wood filler where I use nails to hold it up so you don't see little speckles throughout. But this is essentially what it's going to look like, and I really love it. I think the cabin vibe is going to suit us really well, be so much easier to maintain than paint, and ultimately just be more timeless than a thick coat of gray that was in here before. All of that, though, to come in the next few weeks. In the meantime, I hope you all enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for being here. We'll see you next Sunday.